Yes, this is the International Medical Universe today, and today we're going to talk about something really, really scary. The idea that bad bacteria in your gut can take over your brain, actually take over your thought processes.
Newest research proves that virtually everything to do with weight gain and fat loss is directly related to what the medical community refers to as our second brain, or our GI tract.
Yeah, we actually talked about your gut feelings and trust your gut. Well, there's a lot to be said for that. And then we said, but never really believe it completely. But now today we have to understand that sugar can take over your mind. They can take over. And you got to worry about that gut feeling. Take a look at that gut. Who's trusting what? You see, because antibiotics, sugar, and many other things can make bad bacteria build up in your gut, and that bad bacteria can rewire your brain and make you different.
Your GI tract is home to your immune system and contains trillions of living bacteria. And believe it or not, science has recently proven that this bacteria is in control of virtually everything to do with your metabolism and your overall health. Now, everyone has a certain percentage of good bacteria, commonly referred to as probiotic, and a percentage of bad bacteria, known as pathogenic. The natural balance of good bacteria to bad bacteria in healthy people with efficient fat-burning metabolisms is 85% good to 15% bad. You know these types of people. They're the people that can seem to eat anything and always stay lean. Now, the following fact may be hard to swallow, so be ready. Science has recently discovered that virtually all overweight men and women have an excess of pathogenic bacteria and too little probiotic bacteria. And here's why that's very bad news. For starters, the excess pathogenic bacteria flat out cripples your metabolism. It quite literally hijacks and destroys your fat-burning hormones while sending your fat-storing hormones through the roof. This alone makes it impossible to burn fat and results in even the healthy food you're eating being turned into the unsightly flab you're so desperately trying to rid yourself of. And if you've ever felt like you're gaining weight even when you're eating next to nothing, this is, in all likelihood, the exact reason why. What's more is that you're hungrier than you should be, and for all of the wrong foods. And the reason why is quite startling. You see, the metabolism-slowing bad bacteria actually reprograms your taste buds and your brain to crave all of the foods that it needs to multiply.
Rewiring your brain and making you crave the food that feeds that bacteria. Yes, the bad bacteria changes your mind, changes your brain, changes everything about you, takes over.
Yes, you heard that correctly. The bad bacteria in your gut is using your body as a restaurant and is quite literally making you crave the food that it wants and needs. And the more bad bacteria you have, the more cravings you get for all of the wrong foods. Foods that are literally feeding your bad bacteria and allowing them to multiply uncontrollably. Sugar is at the top of this list that your bad bacteria devours and multiplies on. If you've ever done that experiment in high school science class where you pour sugar on a petri dish in order to grow bacteria, that's exactly what's happening in your stomach right now. And unfortunately, multiple studies now prove artificial sweeteners to be even worse than sugar for fueling your bad bacteria and allowing it to terrorize your metabolism and your immune system. And even with the millions of dollars they have, the massive money-hungry food manufacturers will not be able to keep truths like this hidden for much longer. Truths that help explain why in the zero-calorie, diet soda age, the Western world is heavier and sicker than ever.
Yes, sugar, bad bacteria, zombies. Driven by the cravings for sugar, driven by only thoughts of it, and it can actually affect all the processes. It is the beginning of addictive behavior, and it can start making you addictive to many things and can take away your soul. This is absolutely true.
As odd as it sounds, the reality is every piece of food you eat feeds either your good bacteria or your bad bacteria before it even has a chance to nourish you. You're unknowingly experiencing an inner battle between your good and bad bacteria with each and every meal you consume. And your nutrition is vital in order to maintain the ideal ratio of good to bad bacteria which is now being recognized as the single most important factor for being able to experience healthy, long-term weight loss. Unfortunately, in the modern Western diet that's dominated by processed, sugar-laden foods and chemicals that you're exposed to on a daily basis, a playground has been created for your fat-storing pathogenic bacteria to flourish uncontrollably. And we can't forget to mention what is one of the worst obesity-causing pathogenic bacteria multipliers of all: antibiotics. Study after study proves the rate of obesity to be rising parallel to the use of antibiotics because of this. Heck, farmers figured this out long ago when they realized they just have to pump their livestock full of antibiotics in order to fatten them up like crazy. These antibiotics fed to livestock, of course, end up finding their way into your GI tract, allowing your bad bacteria to flourish even more. And when your fat-storing, health-derailing bacteria is flourishing, it's not just a weight loss nightmare. It also kills your energy, focus, and immune system and leaves you feeling sluggish and extremely susceptible to sickness. As a matter of fact, science has directly linked over 170 different diseases to pathogenic bacteria imbalance. You see, in addition to struggling with your weight, other telltale signs you're suffering from this imbalance include, but are not limited to, gas, bloating, indigestion, constipation, IBS or diarrhea, acid reflux, frequent headaches, anxiety, trouble sleeping, low energy, and sugar cravings. And is this...
Yes, there's a battle between the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. And it happens every time that you eat. And we should have 85% good to only 15% bad. We need some of those bad bacteria. They have big functions in biology. But synthetic antibiotics, sugar, etc. can produce depression, can produce mental disease, can produce anxiety, schizophrenia, and more. You see, the antibiotics, they kill friendly and good bacteria, and they create a new type of bacteria that is antibiotic resistant. Now, this type of bacteria can be driven more by these artificial sweeteners because we find that all of these synthetic chemicals create this. All of these synthetic chemicals and processed white sugar drive this. And it makes your brain different. It makes your brain want them. Your brain becomes different and you start to crave the wrong foods. You get into addictive behaviors. You can't stop. You see, the bad bacteria is in your gut and it uses your body as a restaurant. It takes over the brain, making you a sugar zombie. You can't think of anything else. You can't think about why you want to eat fruit or etc. You want sugar. You become a driven zombie. This is not a joke. This is not funny. This is absolutely true. This is happening as they take over your brain and they make you crazy. And they can produce all different types of crazed types of thinking, anxiety, depression, PMS irritations, on, as it makes people more and more crazy. And we found that the sugar throughout history has done this. Throughout this incredible history, sugar has made people's immune systems weak, irritated the nerves, reprogrammed the brain, and made people crazy, made people anxious, made people depressed. This is something that we have to now recognize, that this white sugar and the effects of the bad bacteria in the bowel can have horrendous effects. Now we understand that there really is an end to antibiotics, and it's the antibiotics that really kill people with the Ebola and all these other things, but we have to recognize that the sugar is also a gigantic problem, and we have to deal with this. This is really, really true, that the sugar-fed bad bacteria in the gut can take over your brain, make you think things that you don't want to think, make you want to eat things that you don't want to eat. It can take over your behavior and create problems. This is Desiree Dubonnet, helping to help you and helping to inform you. Signing off.